Hello, hello, it's Kev here, again. OET time. First things first though, as always, I've got to mention copyright, disclaimer, fair use, non-profit, you know the score. Because I'm using referring to the official OET writing guide, the ultimate guide to the OET writing subtest. This is the publicly available one on OET.com, so no copyright infringement intended, simply a guide for students. So I've got a letter here from someone in my group OET right now, so we're going to take a look at it. I'm going to refer to the ultimate writing guide to illustrate my points. Okay, now first things first, I'll just check the word count. 207, that's good. As I said in the previous video, word count is basically unimportant. As long as it's not too many over 200 words, 2, 10, 20, 30, that's, but it depends on conciseness and clarity as to whether you added irrelevant information. But anyway, so I went through the guide yesterday and I made a couple of notes and points. So we'll start with purpose, right? So as it says, let me get my pen out, though I've made some marks on it already. Immediately apparent, right? Clear explanation of purpose, and you have to expand on it later by adding relevant details. So if we scroll down, okay, now, right. Now, the first thing I wanted to talk about, someone in the group was posting or sharing some letters, and they had some memorized sentences and phrases. And I said, don't use these, they don't actually work. And this is the reason why. So look, so it must be clear to the reader and personalized to a situation. All right. So every letter is different on purpose. So we don't like you using the same expressions. Like, I'm writing to refer, your further assessment and management will be highly appreciated. They don't appreciate it. So to make sure that you write, so look, this means the purpose of your next letter will be markedly different to others you have read. So the samples that you might have seen from, like corrected letters, I won't name the company, but if you're in my group, you know which I'm referring to. There's a reason why they're the cheapest on the internet, and you can probably guess why that is. Their blog for the writing is very good, but the corrections, so must be different, will be different to others you have read. So that means don't copy. It's got to be original, right? Unique purpose for your unique letter. So, right, personalized. So don't be using fixed expressions. What else did I ever say? Yeah. So I put there's a couple of examples here, right? So you can use this. Thanks for seeing. Name of patient. What's a condition? What do you want me to do specifically? Okay, or this one here. Mr. Spencer's been the patient, will be discharged tomorrow. What do you want me to do? You want me to support and treat him during his rehabilitation. Okay. And some different verbs that you can use. You can use, so like say you're writing to the GP of a patient, that would be an update. Dear Dr. Kev, I'm writing to update you on the condition of your patient, Mr. Patient, blah, 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 who's recently been treated for, etc. Right? So you can do this. I'm writing to request. I'm writing to provide you information about your patient's condition, etc. Yeah. So you can use those. You see. Now, the reason I mention this is, as it says here, sometimes this is not always appropriate. You can do a better one. You can make it better, like it says, right? Each example is clearly personalized. So what this essentially means, if you read between the lines, is don't use memorized expressions, right? Don't use them. So, right, what do you want me to do? So, in terms of it, so we can see it's a letter. You don't have to tell me. Right, it's a letter because Mrs. Vanessa Maric. Okay. So what do you want me to do? So you could, it's like, I'm not sure what you want me to actually do here. You're telling me she's being discharged, but what do you want me to actually do? Presumably she's my patient, family doctor. So you could say I'm writing. So what I'm writing to discharge. Now, if she's my patient, then I should have some information about her. So usually you do name, age, occupation, marital status, which we'll come to in a minute, is essentially irrelevant. What's that got to do with anything? And if she's my patient, I probably know this information, right? Now, I'm not looking at the case notes when I don't have them for this particular letter, but like I explained in the previous video and in others, when I'm marking these, when I'm assessing them, I usually know the case notes in any case. But if you think about it, the reader in real life would only have this letter. They wouldn't have the case notes. So if I've got to refer to the case notes to understand your letter, then it's not a very good letter. I shouldn't need this. Everything should be clear in your letter. So, just for sake of argument, right, I know this patient. She's my patient. So we don't really need that. I would probably, oh yes, it's Mrs. Maric. Look her up in the files. I'm writing to discharge. I probably know the hospital. Mrs. Vanessa Maric. After treatment for. Oops. Okay, right. Now, what do you want me to do? What's my purpose? Close monitoring. Right, now, that's better, yeah? I'm writing to discharge. Right, let me just show you the changed version. Okay, right, so I'm writing to discharge Mrs. Patient after treatment for suspected acute kidney injury and who requires close monitoring. You could do that, yeah. You could say I'm writing to update you on the condition of your patient. You could do that also. You could do that as well. So these are personalized now, yeah? We're using the right verbs or different verbs, etc. Now, content, let me scroll down. There's a few more points I want to make before we continue. Like it says, you usually explain this at the kind of bottom, so that is good. Okay, sorry. So, yeah, right. As it says, right, Not rely on pre-learned phrases and sentences. So there you have it, right from the horse's mouth, as we say. The actual guide says, don't do it. Don't use these. Your further assessment will be highly appreciated. Don't do it. Don't use it. You won't get full marks in purpose if you do that, right? So don't rely on them. Okay. Now, content. Okay, like we said, right? So, what details don't I need? For example, that one about a marital status, don't need that, because that's not good, right? So, what you need to consider is the information that you give me, is it likely to change how I do my job in any way? If the answer is no, don't include it, right? As it says, certain details, right? Patient's children, grandchildren, job, before he be retired, financial. So that's a good one. People often say a 70-year-old retired accountant, etc. And as I explained, in previous assessments, what difference does it make what his job was if he's retired? He's a pensioner, so right. If you don't need it, don't include it. Don't tell me. Do I need to know she's kind of married? People keep on including, please note, Mrs. Patient has 2 teenage daughters, and it's like, well, I'm sure that's very nice for Mrs. Patient, but what's that going to do? What's that got to do with me? Social history. Now, right, if you're writing a letter to the patient's GP, right, we still don't need the social history. But also, I don't need to know her previous medical conditions because I'm her GP. I should know this. So, for example, let me just scroll down there, get to the next point. So, for example, if she's my patient, do I need this information? And the answer is probably no. Again, I'm not 100% sure because I haven't seen the case notes, but if you think about it, if you're writing to the GP, you don't need to include this really, do you? Because I know it. I have this information, so you don't have to tell me. So that would come under the the criteria of conciseness and clarity. Let me scroll down. I keep putting pictures of all these doctors here. Right, so now, conciseness. What can we omit? So, as it says here, right, including information the reader already knows. So if I'm her GP, I know this. What I don't know is what happened in hospital, how you treated her, and what you want me to do in the future. That's what I don't know. Okay. Providing too much background or historical detail, again, they tell you too much about her as a kids and she had this in this year, 20 years ago, and she had this, and right. Now, we'll come to this. Not grouping similar information together. So if you think about it, right, every visit has 3 stages, right? What the patient presents with. Oh, doctor, I've got such a terrible pain, blah, blah, blah. What you find out by examination and asking questions. And then what action you take. Right? Do you give some advice? Do you make a prescription, etc.? And this is the same for the speaking section. Yeah. Patient comes in. Oh, doctor, I've got such a terrible blah blah blah. Oh dear. Let me ask you a few questions. So what I'll do is make you a referral, give you some medicine, blah blah blah. Okay. So, but we can see now. Let's have a look. So, right. Too much background. Via ambulance? Well, how else would she be admitted? By a donkey? Did she ride a electric scooter into hospital? So, right, we don't need that. Don't need it. So, was admitted with complaints about urine production, tiredness, and fatigue. Now, you don't have to tell me blood tests were taken. Just simply tell me what they showed. Right? Blood tests showed. Because obviously, they'd have to be taken in order for you to tell me what they showed. Okay, so again, conciseness, you don't actually need this, right? The blood test showed high levels of creatinine, and BUN. So we can make these, so we've got what, 1 sentence, 2 sentences, 3 sentences, 4 sentences. We can make this into a single sentence if we wish. So, Mrs. Maric was admitted with complaints of imposition. BP was 137.95. Blood test showed high levels of creatine and BUN, for which she was given. We don't need that ultrasound findings. They are unremarkable. Don't tell me what there isn't. For which she was given action in fluids. And we could simply say, however, there were no indications of hemodialysis. So you can see, right, we're grouping similar information. We've got 4 sentences essentially into one. Now, let's take a look at the changed version. Let's have a look, see what that looks like. Accept. Okay. So, Mrs. Maric was admitted on the 27th. Oh, put a comma. The blood test showed up as however, there were no indications. Right, see, now, isn't that better? We've got rid of some irrelevant background historical stuff. We don't actually need it, right? We're clear, we're concise, we're to the point. Okay, that's good. What else have we got? What else? Yeah, so you can read this. I posted it in the group. You might have it anyway. So grouping similar information, like we were just saying. Grouping information, quick and easy to read, like I just showed you there. Again, you can read all this stuff afterwards. Grouping information, blah 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 blah. So let's continue. And today has been a bit improved. Conjunction. Why not just use that? And the you and that part. Became better. Became was better. Recommendation or hydrations were given. Please note previous treatments were substituted. She was as soon as she will be able to emit urinate and eat on her own. Moreover, someone must drive her home. Okay, right, yeah, I think, yeah, that's, I mean, you don't really need that to have a separate sentence, but that's not bad. Okay, we've joined those 2 sentences, we improved, the urine output was better, recommendations were given, please note previous treatment was substituted, she's going to be discharged as soon as she's able and it's on her own, someone must drive home. Given the above, okay, right, so yeah, that's better now. Let me just put all the changes on. Right, okay, and let's check out the word count. It's probably going to be low. But I think you might have not included, 170. Now, I haven't seen the case notes, but there's probably more that you could add to this one. But going on the criteria, like we said, grouping similar information, etc. That's basically it. That's what I would do. So we've got a good. Oh, actually. We don't need both of those. Okay, so let me put that other change on. Okay, rid of that now. So this is certainly clearer now. Okay, so like I say, there's probably more in the case notes that you could have included. I haven't seen them, so I don't know. But if we look at this now, this is pretty clear, right? There's no reason, there's no doubts about anything what is occurring. Just put this here and get this a bit closer. Okay, so I'm writing to discharge Mrs. Patient after treatment and who requires close monitoring. Then you've got the admittance complaints for blood tests showed, however there were no indications today. Creatinine and BN levels were improved. Please note she's going to be discharged. I think there's probably more that you could put about the discharge and monitoring. I think I have seen these cases. I'm not entirely sure, but I think I've seen some pretty similar. I think that is more about what you want the doctor to actually look out for. I think so. I think there might be something more. You only need a sentence or two, and it's going to be 200 words. So as a sentence or two, probably, like I say, there's something in the case notes that you could add there, because that's pretty sparse as to what you actually want so she's going to be discharged. And then this, I'm sure there's more in the case notes about exactly what you want me to do, because we've said the same. You've used the same words in the opening purpose and closing purpose. So there's probably something more that you could add in that. So all that we need is a sentence or two, and that's going to be 200 words. Yeah? So, anyway, I hope that helps. Is there anything else I need to tell you about? Yeah, it tells you about that. Genre style. Okay, yeah, I'll continue. Expand the notes into complete sentences. Do not use note form. If you got too short, I joined some sentences there because you had some sentences that were pretty short. Yeah, and they were kind of case notes transformed into a sentence, but not really complete sentences. So you need to do that as well. What else do you have to do? Anything else I need to mention? You've got some grammar stuff. Again, the grammar here is not bad. What else? Organization and layout. Yeah. Okay. So putting information in the right place. Each letter will be structured in a slightly different way. So don't take into account any of these templates that you see on the internet that they say a discharge needs 4 paragraphs, referral needs 5 paragraphs. What you've got to do, as I keep on saying, is that what you're doing, you're constructing a narrative, you're telling a story. Yeah. So you put yourself in the shoes of the reader and think, what would that person need to do their job? What information would they want first, second, etc.? Because that's all that you're doing, really. You're telling a story. Was there anything else I wanted to tell you about? Oh, yeah. Your paragraph. One theme, a paragraph. So it's one time period, one visit, or it's one theme. Don't mix it. And the order, important sentence first, second sentence comes second, etc. Anything else I need to mention? Let's have a quick scroll. I had a look at this guide yesterday, made a couple of notes. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, that should be it then. That's good enough. No, I don't. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. Make this bigger if I can. Okay. So, hope that helps. Like I say, there's probably a couple of sentences that you could add. I would probably put something in the expansion of the purpose. There must be something else there. And you can maybe put another sentence about discharge conditions, but everything else seems to be okay. Creatine. Is it creatine or creatinine? I don't really know. Oral hydrations were given. Satan. That's probably a brand name, I think. So it should be a capital. Well, Southtown should be capital, I think. Creatinine, that's probably just a generic thing. So anyway, right, so there you go. Hope that helps. It's a bit of a long video for today, maybe a bit rambling, you know. I just wanted to go through that writing guide. Like I say, I made it a couple of notes yesterday just to bring out a couple of points. I didn't just want to talk about the criteria one by one. I wanted to show how they could be applied to a letter. Anyway, that's probably more than enough from me for today. If you're in my group, links below. Keep sending your letters, and I'll keep making a video or videos. Okay, I'll see you next time.